So thank you for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. So as mentioned in the title, this is actually the part 1 of 2016's hardest question. So I'm currently still editing the 2016 part B here. So it will be up the day after I posted this video. So for those that haven't done 2017's hardest paper, so I will leave a link here to the video and the download link is in the description. So for those that's new here, there's a quick link in the comment section where you can skip to the specific question that you're looking for, and the download link for this particular set is in the description box. So if you find this helpful, do share it out to your friends, leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So for the first question, the keyword here is prime factor. So you do it like a HCF or LCM, but the variables that you'll be using is only prime numbers. And then you're required to list down the final answer. For example, for our question 13, into 2 to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 2 times 7. Okay. Whereby for part B, okay, 2016, you are required to change it into standard form. So basically just shift the decimals into 2.016 times 10 to the power of 3 because you shifted 3 times. But for the following ones, you simply add the x to the power of 3 and 5 together, it becomes 8. 4 plus 3 becomes 7. Okay. If there's a bracket there, like inside part B, then you're required to multiply the 3 into every single thing. So 3 to the power of 3 becomes 27. P 2 times 3, 6. M 5 times 3, 15. Whereby for the next one, okay, is naming the line. Okay, so the first line, okay, what I usually do is I label down where the direction it is going. Okay, so for example, x is more than equals to -2, okay, because it's towards the right side, and then y is less than 2 because it is dotted line and it's towards the bottom. Okay, and then for the next two lines, you're required to use y equals to mx plus c. Okay, m is the gradient, so you're required to calculate, choose 2 points from the line to calculate the gradient, and then c is the intersection of the line with y axis. Okay, by doing so, you'll be able to label the last two lines. As for the next part, first thing you need to do is to fill up the x position with the variables given. So you need to fill in negative 0.5, you need to fill in 1.5 and also 3. So with all these variables filled up already, then you are required to plot out the graph. Okay. So question C, okay, it is actually talking about when y equals to 1.5, what's the x value? So simply draw from the graph, then you'll be able to identify that x is actually negative 0.65. Whereby for the next part, okay, this is a little bit tricky. So you're required to compare the original formula with the new one that was given. Simply shift out the excess ones to the other side. Okay, then you'll be able to get your new line. Okay, so A will actually be negative 1 and then B is 2.5. So in order for you to draw out the line, you are required to set some variables, okay, and plot down minimum 2 points. Then you are able to draw out the line. Okay, and the intersection will be the answer. Lastly, by drawing a suitable tangent. So from the point x equals to 2, you draw a line there. Then simply pick up 2 points and run the gradient formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then you'll be able to find the final results. As for the next question, question 10. So the first thing that I would do is actually I draw out another triangle at the side, okay, and then I use the information given, which is radius equals to 1. So I'll be able to find the base of the triangle. At the left side is 3 and the hypotenuse of it is 6. Then simply use Pythagoras theorem to find the height of it. Whereby for part B is actually interrelated with part A, okay, because the radius is 1, so simply add 2 into the answer from part A, then you'll be able to get part B's results. And part B's second part is the hardest among all these questions. Okay, so as you can see, I draw out 3 lines at the triangle there. Then you'll be able to identify that each of this angle is actually 60. Okay, so using tangent, I'm able to find the opposite, okay, which is the base of the left side of the triangle. So the base is actually square root 3. Okay, then I look at the bigger triangle now. So with the adjection given, then I'll be able to find the height of this triangle. So the result is actually 3. Okay, then I run the calculation. 3 times 2 square root 3 times half times 12. So why is it 2 square root 3? Some student might ask. Because the base is the same, so square root 3 plus square root 3 equals to 2 square root 3. As for the next part, it is also very tricky. Okay, you are required to take note that the direction must be the same. So OP equals to SR equals to T to the middle and middle to Q. So those parts represent X. Okay, and Y is like OT, P to the middle, middle to S, and then also QR. So the first thing they ask us to identify QR. So QR is actually equals to Y. whereby PQ is actually y plus x. And position vector of S, okay, which is from 0 to S. So OT, T to the middle, and middle to S. So 2y plus x. Whereby for the next part, it was given that SR, okay, and RG. So immediately you identify that RG is actually half of X, okay, and they want you to find GQ. So GR is actually negative half X, then RQ is negative Y. Okay, then you take out the negative from both of it, then you get negative bracket 1 over 2x plus y bracket. Whereby for the next question, M is the midpoint of OP. Okay, so which means it's half and half. So MG will actually equals to MP plus P to the middle, then middle to Q, Q to R, and R to G. So it's actually 2x plus 2y. Whereby for next one you're required to prove it. So first thing you need to identify is actually MH is equals to HG. Okay, and they both results in x plus y. So you need to also state that MG is actually 2MH. So for this question 16 is very straightforward, so I won't do any voiceover for this part. Whereby for question 17, first thing you need to take note is you're required to calculate the total interior angle, then minus off the 5 angle that has the same value, which is 115, then you will left with the balance, which is the answer. Question 18. So first thing first, you're required to find the total distance, and the total distance here is actually the length of the bridge itself and also the car. So with the speed given, you're required to change the speed into meters over second first. So you need to take 105 times 1000 divided by 3600 equals to the distance over time, which is unknown. Then do the shifting, then you'll be able to find the answer. Question 20. The first thing you're required to take note is this is actually not a full circle, so that the angle of this shape is still unknown. So I actually put a question mark over 360 times 2 pi times 9. 9 is the radius, then equals to 6 pi that was given by the question itself. By running the shifting, you'll be able to find the angle is actually 120 degrees. So next thing, you're required to find k's value. So by having the 120 over 360 times pi times r square equals to k pi. So k's final value will actually be 27. For question 21, is directly proportional to a positive square root of x. So according to the formula y equals to kx, you need to change the x into square root x. Then substitute the value in to find the value of k first, which is 4. So with that being said, you key in the 1 over 4 into x position, then you get the final results of y equals to 2. For question 22, so they want you to find n bracket a intercept everything other than b. So the value is actually 3, okay, because it's referring to a without b part. Okay. Find the probability that this element is in set B. So set B has a total of 19 over 27. And then for question C, an element was chosen from A and then is member of set B. So 7 out of 10. Question 23, this is actually a trapezium. So you can notice that the height wasn't given, so you're required to calculate the triangle in order for you to get the value of it. So you actually use Pythagoras theorem and you get the height of this trapezium is actually 4 square root 3. Then with that being said, you multiply all the variables that you have to get the final answer. Whereby for question 24, part A, so simply take out 2 from 2a plus 4 and take out p from ap plus 2p. Then you will rearrange it into 2 plus p multiplied by a plus 2. For part B, it is actually a little bit tricky. So first you're required to take out 2 from the equation. Then you will be left with 2 bracket 81 minus 4t squared bracket. Then you rearrange it into 2 bracket 9 squared minus 2t squared bracket. So you use the a squared minus b squared formula, then you will get the final results. For question 25, so first thing first, you are required to find the original line's gradient. Then with the gradient you obtain, you multiply by a unknown, which is the gradient of the perpendicular line, equals to -1. Then do the shifting, you'll be able to get the gradient of the new line. So up to this point, you are required to calculate a midpoint for this AB line, because the midpoint will be used to substitute into y equals to mx plus c to find the final equation of the new line. Then you get c's value as 11. So by having all these variables, then you can get the final results of y equals to -3/7 times x plus 11. So for the next question, okay, first thing first, you are required to find the midpoint of the area. Then you multiply the respective midpoint with their frequency, add them up together, divide by 200 to get the final results. So as for part 2 of this question, it's about frequency density. So for frequency density question, you're required to check the one that was given by them first, okay? Because sometimes the results, okay, the frequency density results might not be the same as what you have calculated. So you are required to multiply by a scale factor. But for this question, it's very straightforward. You run the calculation, then you'll be able to get the answer. So for example, I take the first one, okay, it's actually 20 to 60, okay, so the class interval is actually 40 and the frequency is 32. So 32 over 40, you will get 0.8. So at 0.8, you draw out the part of it. So you just repeat the same process for the remaining two. Okay, so Part 3 is also very tricky. So 200 students are chosen at random. So, and it's greater than 100 meters square. So the total possible outcome that is more than 100 meters square is actually 80 plus 24. Okay, so it's 104% out of 200. And after you took out one of them, then for both the denominator and numerator is required to minus by 1. So multiply the two variables together to get the final results. So the next question 4, part A is very straightforward. You just fill out the variables with the formula given, then you'll be able to find the results. So the keyword here is 4 significant figures. So 14137.17. So we'll be looking at the numbers behind the 3. So you're required to round it up because it is more than 5. Whereby for part B, there's two things that I've done. First, I calculate the entire volume of the cylinder, then minus it off with the answer that I've gotten earlier, which is 4,500 pi. Then the difference will be the results. And the next thing, the sphere is removed from the tank. Okay, so you'll be using the 33,000 pi that you have gotten from the previous question. Then you fill up with the equation, and D is the only variable that is an unknown. By running a calculation, you'll be able to find the value of D. Okay, for the next question, the sphere is now melted down. Okay, but things to take note is the volume is still the same, which is 4,500 pi. So I have actually made a mistake here. So as you can see, I input 1/2. So I've done the changes in my calculator, but I've forgotten to change the answer sheet. So do take note on that mistake. And then by running a calculation, you'll be able to find the answer. As for the last part, with the radius that you have gotten, you are required to find the slant height because it's referring for the surface area. Okay, for you to find the surface area of the curve, you need the slant height. And also one more thing, the final results you are required to add in the base area as well. Okay, so by running a calculation, you'll be able to get the final results. Next one, the key concept here is you need to take note that 200 over x is actually required more time. Okay, because the speed is slower. Okay. So you take 200 over x minus 200 over x plus 10. By running the calculation, you'll be able to prove the statement. So for part 2, find the difference. So just fill up the 80 into the formula. Then you get 5 over 18. So this one is actually representing the hour. So I multiply it by 60, then I get 16 minutes and with decimals. Okay, so those decimals actually represent second. So you take the results minus 16 times another 60 into it, then you get 40 seconds. So the next question here. So first thing you are required to take note that the 1 to 1 million is actually equals to 1 to 10 kilometer. Which means 1 cm square stands for 100 kilometer square. So the 4.6 cm square you multiply by 100, then you'll be able to get the results. Part 8 is very straightforward, so I won't do any voiceover for this part. question 9. This is actually quite popular. So you are required to take note that in order for you to find the numbers of side, just simply take the interior angle formula, divide by n, then you'll be able to find the result. So you do the shifting to find the n, and it is 45. Part 10 is also very straightforward, so no voiceover for this part as well. Whereby for question 11, so this is actually a assessment on your concept of mean, mode and median. Mode simply means it occurs most. Okay, so out of 4 variables, there will be 2, 78. And then for you to find median, so it's like 78 plus a unknown, divide by 2 equals to 77. And this unknown will actually be 76. So for you to find the mean, simply take 75 equals to 78 plus 78 plus 76 plus unknown, divide by 4. So run the calculation, then you'll be able to get that the unknown is actually 68. So the next question is question 20. So this is actually another frequency density question. Okay, so you are required to take note that for you to find frequency, simply take the frequency density times the class interval. So after I run the calculation, I get that the total numbers of train is actually 240. And those trains that arrive 10 minutes late, okay, it's actually 7 over 240 multiplied by 100 for you to find the percentage. As for the next one, okay, this is actually a question about vector. So first thing, you are required to find CB. So CB is actually CO plus OA plus AB. So you get the results of A plus B minus C. whereby for you to find position vector of Q is actually a midpoint of BC. So it's basically half of BC lah. Okay. So just take BQ times half of BC, then you will get negative 1 over 2 A negative 1 over 2 B plus 1 over 2 C. Okay, then OQ is actually OA plus AB plus BQ. By running the calculation and rearrangement, then you will get the final answer as 1 over 2 A plus B plus C. Whereby for the last part, PQ. So this one is actually PB plus BQ. So PB is actually 1 over 3 of B, okay, plus the results that you have gotten earlier. Okay, then do the shifting. So the tricky part here is actually the 1 over 3b minus 1 over 2b. You are required to change the denominator into the same first, then you will get negative 1 over 6b. So for the next question, question 5. Okay, first thing first, you need to take note that the total probability is equals to 1. So minus off 0.2, 0.3 and 0.45, you get the results of x as 0.05. Then the coin was flipped 50 times. So just take 50 times 0.3 to get the results. As for part C, the first question, the keyword here is OR. So OR simply means you just add up the probability together, then you get the final results of 0.75. Whereby for part 2, okay, the sequence matters rule doesn't apply because it mentioned that the first row he get 0 and the second row she get 5. So just follow the sequence that was planned out by the question, multiply it together to get the final answer. Whereby for part 3, so score a total of 15 points. So this one, sequence matters rules apply. So because 5 may come first, followed by 10, or 10 may come first, followed by 5. So multiply 0.3 times 0.2, then multiply the entire thing by 2, or you just follow what I've written there. Both you will get the same results. As for part D, okay, so she actually throw the coin 3 times. So calculate the probability that you get a total of 10 points. Okay, so the variables that will involve here is actually 0, 0, 10, 10, 0, 0, and 0, 10, 0, and also 0, 5, 5, 5, 0, 5, 5, 5, 0. So just take 3 multiplied by the respective probability plus 3 multiplied by the respective probability. So add them both up to get the final answer. So this part might be a little bit confusing, so try to digest it slowly. So it's actually a harder version of question C part 3. So for question 6, first thing is the planes of symmetry. So for cuboid, there's only 3 planes of symmetry. Whereby for you to find the surface area, so it's actually being broken down into 3 parts. So it's 60 times 30 times 2 because the top and the bottom, and 60 times 35 times 2 because of the left and right, plus 2 times 35 and 30, which is the bottom cuboid. So for you to change it into square meters, so I actually list down the calculation at the side there. So 1 meter square equals to 10,000 cm squared. So 9,900 over 10,000, you get 0.99 meters squared. As for you to find AG, okay, first thing first, you're required to find the AC's length, okay. So you use Pythagoras theorem. Then you get 5 square root 193. Then with the same thing, you run another Pythagoras calculation again to find value of G as 75.66. So with the results that we have gotten earlier, it is actually the opposite and adjunction of angles GAC. So using tangent GAC, you will get 30 over 5 square root 193. So by checking from the calculator, you will get the angle. For part D is very straightforward, just multiply 60 times 35 times 30 to prove the question. as for the last one, so the keyword here is cylinder, okay, and they are looking for volume. So pi r squared times h equals to 63,000, okay, and the height has already been given, so you just run the calculation, then you get the radius as 22.4 cm. So these are the questions that I think that's hardest in 2016. So part B will be releasing soon. So do try out all the questions if possible, as I actually handpicked from every single topic. Okay, so if you find this helpful, do share it out with your friends. Leave us a like and subscribe to the channel.